It's Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. A few things I want to discuss with everybody today. Feel free to comment down below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification down below, give this video a thumbs up, and share my videos everywhere. But I want to get right into things today, and I'm going to respond to a comment somebody wrote. I believe it was last night or early this morning. I can't remember. Actually, I believe it was last night. This individual said that I have to tell people to buy Bitcoin, not just gold. You got to tell people to buy Bitcoin. And first off, let me be very clear. I don't have to do anything, and I never tell people to buy anything. This channel, I solely tell people what I'm doing, what my friends are doing, people in my circle, what we're doing, and my recommendations. But I would never tell somebody, you need to go do this, you need to buy that, especially stocks. People giving stock advice, pumping stocks out here on these videos. I do own a handful of mining stocks, and people ask me for my recommendations. I would never do that because these things can go to zero quickly. They are a big gamble. I recommend gold and silver because it has a 5,000-year history. It's never gone to zero. It's never been worthless. And so I don't feel as I'm misleading anybody or giving anybody bad financial advice, because I know that it has a 5,000-year history and it's never going to go to zero. And of course, there's no counterparty risk when you're holding your own physical gold and silver. Make sure you have it in a secure place. But when you're buying mining stocks or junior miners or stocks anywhere, or any type of stock on the market, there is counterparty risk. Any stock can go to zero. There is no stock alive today that is 5,000 years old. And you have to ask yourself, even with cryptos and Bitcoin, will Bitcoin be around for the next 5,000 years? I don't think it will be. Will it be around the next 50 years, the next 5 years? I don't think it will be. This right here will be. I can go to bed at night feeling very comfortable saying that if you buy an ounce of gold or silver, it will never be worth zero. This will always be real money. This is wealth. Anywhere you go on the entire planet, people can look at this and they know what it is. It's gold. And it's one of the most liquid assets on planet Earth because you can take this. People go, well, you can't eat gold. No, but I can take this and I can easily convert it into any currency on the entire planet and go buy groceries and go buy food and go buy a cow. In fact, most farmers probably would take this physical gold and trade me beef, a cow, a pig, whatever. But I love when people say that you can't eat your gold or silver, JB. Well, that's completely untrue because all I have to do is easily convert it into cash, which is very, very easy to do when you have the, if not most liquid asset on planet Earth, gold and silver. But these people that say I have to tell people to buy Bitcoin, you know, Bitcoin was nearly $70,000, what, about 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago. Now it is $29,000. So why would I tell somebody to buy something that has been completely wrecked? And we saw it go down to what, $14,000, $15,000? It's back down to 29 from 69. Huge volatility. Gold is literally now $75 from its all-time high, and nothing bad's happened. And yet gold is holding steady. So I'm never going to tell anybody that you have to go out and buy something, that you have to go out and invest something. Again, I own junior mining stocks. I would never recommend a junior mining stock to anybody because they're extremely volatile. And many of these things are going to go to zero. And so you got to be very, very careful. So I don't make recommendations with stocks, junior miners, or any other investment. I just tell you what I'm doing, what I think is safe, and what I think you're going to have is assets, gold and silver, food, water, security, barterable items, things like that. So be careful with the advice that you're taking out there, because I think a lot of people just go out there and, you know, they recommend all this stuff, tell you to buy it because they're making money. So be very, very, very careful. But I think when you're buying gold or silver, knowing that it's never going to be worth zero, you're okay. And if you need a good recommendation, go to my link down below, SD Bullion. I've been dealing with them for 4.5 years. They've been fantastic. One of the, I think, best places you can buy physical gold and silver. And look, you can go buy from anybody you feel comfortable with. You can go to your local coin shop, anybody that is reputable online. There's a lot of great companies out there, so you don't have to go to where I go. But if you need a recommendation, if you want to buy something that you know you're going to get that's going to be real, SD Bullion, you'll never ever have a problem. And really quick, my good friend Ryan still has some gold balances. These are fantastic. And look, we saw gold up around $30 at one point today. I think right now it's trading at about $25, $26. So we're over $1,980 an ounce again. And this little gold balance, I think, is so important. For $26, I don't make a dime off of this. I will put Ryan's link down below. But there's 3 different ways you can confirm that this is real. So whether you're buying something from a pawn shop, a coin dealer, SD Bullion, whatever, it never hurts to test your gold. And this gives you 3 different ways. You can put it in here, put it on a table, weigh it. You can check diameter. And you can check width. So you can check it 3 different ways. And we're coming to a point, ladies and gentlemen, where you may have to actually use your physical gold. Whether you're buying something or somebody's selling you something and using an ounce of gold, why not have a cheap little tool like this, about 7 inches, fit it right in your pocket, a little piece of plastic here, $26, and it at least gives you 3 ways to verify and confirm that that ounce of gold is real. And this tests the 7 most popular gold coins out there. Again, I don't make a dime from this, but Ryan is a subscriber. He's come out here and trained with me. He's in the gold and silver business. He's walking the walk, and I believe we should support people that support what we believe in. So check it out. I'll put the link down below. But I want to move on to a couple other things here. We won't make this all about gold and silver today. There's a lot going on. The administration approves pumping another $1.3 billion in arms into stalemated Ukraine war. Somebody please answer me this. What will we get in return? And this is by no means being political. We are talking pure economics here. I want to know what I'm getting for my money. Another $1.3 billion. And over the decade, I believe, over the decade, we've sent about $200 billion over there. What am I getting in return? Where's the money coming from? Who's paying this back? How are we going to pay this back? And again, if you think inflation is going away and you think that this is going to go to zero, that this is going to be worthless when they're spending another $1.3 trillion, please wake up and snap out of it. Get out of your bubble quickly. This is going to create more inflation. And when we look at the GDP numbers, they go, oh, look, GDP is rising, we're seeing growth. Yeah, we're seeing growth because of government spending. Government spending like this, where they're dropping billions of dollars over in these other nations, supporting this war. And so we're not seeing GDP in this country growing because of a booming economy. We're seeing it because of this booming government spending. And this government spending is what has caused all this inflation. And it's going to continue to cause inflation. And this is why I think you really need to be protecting yourselves. And if you're just holding dollars, if you're just holding paper, I think you're taking a big risk. Here's one from the hedge today. Better get ready. Central bank digital currency is coming. CBDCs are war on cash, ladies and gentlemen. It is a war on your financial freedom. People have asked me to talk a little bit more about CBDCs. I think that this is extremely dangerous. I think, again, this is going to really threaten your financial freedom, and it gives so much control to these central banks. They make these CBDCs sound really trendy, really convenient, really safe. All this just way better than cash. It's safer, it's more convenient. This is the trend. Everybody's going to do it. It's going to just be so convenient. But this is giving so much power to the central banks, and they can shut you down with the press of a button. See, cash gives you the freedom. If you want to tip your babysitter $20, you want to tip your waiter $20, nobody knows, nobody cares. But all of a sudden they're going to know and they're going to care. This is going to allow them more power. It's going to allow central banks to engage and manipulate monetary policies such as negative interest rates. You're not going to be able to hide the smallest transaction. Again, $20 to the babysitter, $20 to the waiter. If I want to give $5 to a homeless person on a corner, it's all going to be tracked. It's all going to be recorded. And again, you are giving up full control and you can be shut down in a second. And, I'm sure that many people out there will look at this and have good intentions. But the problem is we know how this all plays out, that something can start with good intentions. But sooner or later, bad people get into power and then they weaponize things like CBDCs, where we don't like where you're spending your money, or the economy's slow, we're going to force you to spend your money to pick up the economy. We don't like who you voted for. We don't like what church you go to. We don't like what you believe in. And so we're going to punish you. You're giving over so much power, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope that people begin to realize that this is something that is going to be weaponized and used against them. Home builder sentiment rises again in July, but builder warns higher mortgage rates are hurting. 30-year fixed rate today, I checked bankrate.com 15 minutes ago, 7.23%. And that's if you got 20% down and excellent credit. Just like I'm watching the markets today melt up, it's literally unbelievable, the fantasy that we're watching in these markets that is taking place right now. It really is. And then I'm reading home builder sentiment is rising. If you take the average price of a home today, $436,000, based on a 7.5% loan, 30-year, minimum down. I mean, you're looking at, $3,000 plus a month on a home. Then you look at what your average new car payment is. That's $735. You put gas in it. You pay car insurance. I mean, you're at $4,000 like that, like it's nothing. That doesn't include utility bills, your HOA, going to the grocery store, your cell phone bill, health insurance. And I was just talking to a good friend of mine today, and he asked me, how in the world are people doing it right now? And I don't have the answer other than people are running up ridiculous amounts of debt to hang on. Now, remember, when interest rates were extremely cheap, people pulled a lot of money out of their homes, and they're sitting on some of that cash in survival mode right now. And of course, you have so many people out there right now that have 10, 12, 15 credit cards, and that's what they're living on also. So we're looking at credit card debt now at over $1 trillion. A student loan debt at 1.8 trillion, auto debt 1.6 trillion. I mean, it's just unbelievable, unfathomable, the amount of debt that is out there. And guess what? The debt's not coming down. The debt continues to increase. Peter Schiff, dollar decline means lower inflation is transitory. The dollar is losing purchasing power, ladies and gentlemen. And here's another thing too, why I buy gold. And remember, I'm not telling anybody to do what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want. You can buy comic books, you can buy baseball cards, you can buy cryptos, you can do whatever your heart desires. Me, I'm stacking cash, I'm stacking metals, and hopefully very soon I will be buying some land. But you do whatever your heart desires, but do your homework, ladies and gentlemen, and protect yourself. That's one thing I really hope and pray that everybody's doing, is protecting themselves. The dollar's losing value. The more the dollar loses, the more gold is going to gain. And I think that with everything happening behind the scenes with Russia and China, the Shanghai Exchange, these new currencies backed by gold, it's just a matter of time before we see really big numbers hitting gold and silver. But the more the dollar is challenged, the higher gold is going to go. And I think anything under $2,000 for an ounce of gold, anything under $30 for an ounce of silver, it is to me, it's back up the truck time. But as inflation is going down, so is the dollar. But wouldn't we see, as Peter says, wouldn't we see the opposite happen? The dollar's losing purchasing power as inflation is going down. You would think the opposite would happen, Peter says. Peter goes on to say, so if the Fed continues to hike rates and the dollar keeps falling, that effect will be larger than the rate hike or the rate hikes. The cooling CPI is transitory, he says. And I think we're going to see another wave of inflation coming. And has inflation really left? I mean, you watch the television, you think we're back to normal, that everything's fine. But anytime you go to a Home Depot, a Walmart, a grocery store, you look at the price of services, you know as well as I do, prices are not going down. The hedge today. China is moving to replace the U.S. with Gulf oil monarchies. There is a big move underway without a doubt. Could China be replacing the U.S. as a security guarantor with the petro monarchies that control so much of the world's oil reserves? Now, if you hear some snoring, you know who it is. Continuing this, oil-rich Gulf monarchies are leveraging their wealth to deepen ties with China amid anxiety about the future of the long-standing security partnership with the U.S. The value of acquisitions and investments by Gulf companies in China have climbed more than 1,000% year over year. What happens if China replaces the U.S. In Saudi Arabia? What's going to happen? What if China becomes the main security, main military over there in Saudi Arabia? So much is happening, ladies and gentlemen. So much is happening, yet people are ignoring reality. People have no idea what is going on and how their lives are going to change. We are getting pushed out. The dollar is going to be under pressure. Our military influence in the Middle East under pressure. Our dollar under pressure. I mean, just our financial system under pressure. Our control of the world under pressure. It's going to be changing here very, very shortly. In fact, it's changing right now. I know, I watch people and they're saying they're always predicting that something's going to happen. That this change, this is going to happen. That's going to. It's already happening right now. These things are happening right now. You don't have to wait for it to happen. It's happening right now. These things start out slowly. They start out quiet. They start out behind the scenes, and they just roll along. And before you know it, man, this thing is rolling down the tracks like a locomotive. And people are going to wake up and go, "What happened? Well, why is a loaf of bread $100 today? What happened? Why am I starving? Why am I homeless? Why does my U.S. dollar buy me nothing? Why does the world look at this as real money?" And this is where it's all heading back to. The United States of America took the world off the gold standard, and the world is going to put America back on the gold standard. The problem is I don't think America has all that much gold left. The hedge today, a 5% pay cut is coming for 37 million student loan borrowers. About 37 million borrowers will have to start paying back their student loans after a 3-year hiatus. Wells Fargo says this is equivalent to a 5% pay cut. So this is going to be 5% not going back into the economy, where these people wanted us to pay their bills back, but they had money to go out to dinner, take vacations, to buy goods and services, but they wanted us to pay it back. Well, I'm so happy that they're going to have to pay their own debts back. And so this is going to be a lot of money not heading back into the U.S. economy. Nothing is more inflationary than paying people to do nothing. And nothing is more disinflationary than making people pay for something that used to be for free. So I think this is very, very good. But this is going to definitely have an impact on the economy, as people are not going to be able to just go out and spend as freely as they once did. And think about these people who are probably more than likely paycheck to paycheck, taking 5% of their paycheck out now to pay their debts back. This is enough to change their standard of living. Because when they have $300 or $400 going back to paying their school tuition and not going towards a car payment, a credit card payment, or to support their local Starbucks, this is going to have an impact on them. It's going to have an impact on the economy, but there's no way these people should get a free ride, and I thank God that they're not going to. Baltimore considers investing billions of dollars to address 14,000 vacant homes. Think about the enormity of 14,000 vacant homes in Baltimore. This is unbelievable. This would be kind of something like what's happened in Detroit. There are entire neighborhoods sitting vacant in Baltimore. People are fleeing the area because of these policies and also because of the massive surge in crime, and they're getting out. And now Baltimore wants to rebuild these 14,000 homes by throwing billions of dollars. I think it was like $7.5 billion to build these homes back up. The question I have is, okay, if you build up 14,000 plus homes, spend billions of dollars doing this, who's going to live there? The people who basically destroyed these homes, the people who aren't working, don't want to work, the people who have no skills, the people who just want to live off the system. I mean, you can give people all the free money and you can give them homes and you can rebuild these neighborhoods, but they're going to go right back to what they are right now because people just don't have responsibility. They don't have respect for the community. They don't have respect for law. A lot of people just don't want to learn. They don't have skill sets. They don't want to go out and earn. Many people don't even want a job. And in many of these areas, that's why these homes are destroyed, why they're vacant, why the cities are crumbling, because people have no pride in their cities and they don't want to work. And I think that you can throw all the money you want at these cities, but they're going to resort right back to where they came from and just be vacant, abandoned homes again. Because you have to have a job. You have to maintain these neighborhoods. You have to pay the bills. You have to maintain these homes. You got to pay the utilities. And in order to do that, you have to know how to do something. You have to have a skill set. You have to have a job. And you have to have some pride in being a human being, having pride in your city, in your neighborhood. And unfortunately, many people don't have any pride left. They don't care about their neighborhoods. They don't care about other people. And that's why we're just seeing America just basically turn into a third world country, because people stand by and don't care. They just want to know who's going to give them some money so they can go eat today and not have to work. That's unfortunate. That's not everybody, but there is a group of people in many parts of this country that just don't want to work. And again, it doesn't matter what race you are, it doesn't matter what religion you are, it doesn't matter what gender you are. There are people across the board who do not want to work, who just want to live on the government dole and never get off the couch. And they just want to get by. Homeless RV sewage is going into the ocean in Southern California. So we can go from Baltimore now, we can come here to Southern California. This on the Hedge today, 9,000 gallons of sewage a month are going into the wastewater system. That's the storm drain system, not the sewer. The storm drain carries us right to the ocean here in Santa Monica Bay. 600 RVs are being used by homeless people in the Harbor Gateway area in the southern part of Los Angeles. I think we're probably gonna have to go out there and do a video and walk around, maybe talk to some of these people and see what's going on. I've seen some videos on this. It's crazy. I need to fly a drone over this. We need to walk around, talk to some of these people and see what's going on. Let me know if you want us to go out there and do that. Check this out. 9,280 homeless people are living in 6,800 RVs in LA County. 102,000 gallons of sewage pouring into storm drains, heading right out to the ocean. I mean, it is very common now, and it has been for many years, where our beaches in Southern California are closed down because of sewage spills, because of the pollutants in the water. And it's just so terrible. This once beautiful state, tents everywhere, dilapidated RVs everywhere, homeless people everywhere, needles everywhere, sewage pouring into these beautiful oceans. So Baltimore has 14,000 vacant homes, and we have, hundreds of thousands of gallons of sewage pouring into our oceans and tents everywhere. It's just unbelievable. We are living in the twilight zone. Here's another one from the Hedge. The coming crisis of cities, reinvention or bankruptcy. And in this article, I'm going to just paraphrase a little bit and throw my 2 cents into it. The city has lost its utility, it says. It was the center of manufacturing. That is now gone. Most cities don't have very much manufacturing left. People were fascinated with the city. I remember growing up in Chicago and just heading into downtown. Just, you know, to look at the Sears Tower and these massive buildings and the lakefront and the beautiful stores and the hustle and bustle and the great restaurants. Just fascinated with that. The city now has none of that because too many people fear going into the city because of the crime. So the fascination has turned into fear. And when people fear going somewhere, they're not going. They're not going to go shop there. They're not going to go eat there. They're not going to spend time there. Now cities across the U.S. are going broke as people move away and never come back. And my question is to all of you, and growing up in Chicago, take Chicago for instance, $49 billion in debt. How are they going to pay their pensions? How are they going to pay their present day police, fire, street sweepers, the garbage men? How are they going to pay to keep the lights on in Chicago when they're $49 billion in debt? And crime is absolutely out of control. Most of these cities are war zones now. But how do these cities afford to keep the lights on when everybody's leaving? Businesses have left, taking all that tax revenue with them. People who retire that work in these cities that had city jobs, they retire, and guess what? They leave. They go to places like Florida, Texas, and they take their retirement money with them. I don't know how these big cities are going to do it, and I can't speak for most, but Chicago is probably one of the most bankrupted cities in all of America, and I do not know how they're going to sustain operations in a city like Chicago. I'll finish with this last one. Used car prices continue slide as sign of normalcy starts to reemerge. Drove by CarMax yesterday in Palm Desert. They were slammed with cars on the lot. And as soon as it cools down, maybe a little bit, I'll go over there, film it, maybe fly the drone over it. But you look at the average rate to borrow money to finance a used car, it's roughly right around 10%. Think about that. And you know, the price of these cars is still way too much at 10%. How are they going to sell all these cars? Because the auctions are piled up with repossessions. More used cars hitting the market, and you have a big problem here. You have less qualified buyers. You have less people qualified to buy a car and pay 10% to do this. And people, their credit's being destroyed right now because they're falling behind on the credit cards, the rent, the utility bills, etc. And so their credit's being dinged. So they're going to have to pay maybe even a higher rate if they want to buy a used car. But I don't know how or what's going to happen to the used car market, even the new car market. So I'm going to go by in the next week or two, film some of that for all of you. But I'm beginning to notice, I drove by some car lots in India last week, and the used car lots were really starting to fill up. You're definitely seeing a difference from last year to this year. Problem is, nobody is out there walking around kicking tires because most people can't afford these things. 10% plus now on a used car. 10% if you have, you know, decent credit. You don't have decent credit? Whew, man, I don't know. I don't know where they're going to find the qualified buyers to absorb all these cars. And these cars are coming to auction. These repos, I'm hearing now, watching some other videos, 20,000 cars a day being repoed in America. Think about that, 20,000 cars a day. Now, if my math is correct, that's 600,000 cars a month being repossessed. That's a lot of cars. What are they going to do with them? Well, they're going to go to those car lots. Who's going to buy them? I have no idea. I really don't. So we got a big mess on our hands. It's going to continue to get a lot worse, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to tell you what to buy. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Again, I'm out here making these videos, sharing with you what my strategy is, what I'm doing. It may not be right for you. It may not be right at all. But right now, it's what I'm doing. It's gold, silver, it's cash, it's land, it's barterable items, and it's skill sets. Know how to defend yourself, know how to take care of yourself. Security is of the utmost importance, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you know how to protect yourself and your assets. I'm going to leave it there today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in. Please, again, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you share this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. And make sure that you're paying attention, because we're all going to wake up one day. And for many, it's going to be too late. God bless.